Today, we're diving into an absolutely epic story from Hindu mythology, the saga of Lord Skanda, the celestial god of war. But you're about to see how this cosmic battle is actually a blueprint for a much more personal one.
So where are we getting the story from? Well, our guide for this journey is the work of Sri Swami Sivananda and the Divine Life Society. We're drawing straight from their incredibly detailed account of this powerful legend.
Okay, so let's start with the one big question that's going to frame this whole thing. What if this ancient, massive war between gods and demons is really a roadmap for the battle happening inside you? Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in a universe that has been thrown into absolute, total chaos. The celestial realms are under siege, and the divine beings, the gods, are on the ropes, totally oppressed by these powerful demonic forces.
Now, to really get this conflict, you got to know who the players are. On one side, you have the devas, the gods. Think of them as representing our higher, divine nature. And on the other side, the asuras, or demons. They stand for our lower nature. You know, things like ignorance, greed, and the big one, the ego.
The head honcho of the asuras, a guy named Surapadma, was a tyrant on a whole other level. I mean, he didn't just beat the gods, he humiliated them. Get this, he threw the son of Indra, the king of the gods, in prison. He made Vayu, the god of wind, become a street sweeper, and he ordered Varuna, the god of rain, to just sprinkle water around to keep the dust down. The entire divine order was completely flipped on its head.
So yeah, the gods are pushed to their absolute limit. They're desperate. And they finally realize we can't win this war by ourselves. They needed a champion, a savior born from some kind of immense divine power to lead them out of this darkness.
And the way this savior comes into being? Wow, it's nothing short of miraculous. The gods go and plead with the great Lord Shiva, who opens his powerful third eye, the eye of wisdom, and boom, out erupts 6 divine sparks of pure energy. The gods of wind and fire carefully carry these sparks to the sacred river Ganga. She then carries them to this quiet lake full of reeds, and it's there that the sparks transform into 6 beautiful divine babies, each one resting on a lotus flower.
Now that number 6, pay attention to that because it's super important. When Shiva's consort, the goddess Parvati, finds these 6 infants, she gathers them all up in her arms. And in that one embrace, they miraculously fuse together into a single being with one body, but with 6 heads and 12 arms.
And this is how he gets the name Shanmukha, which literally means the one with 6 faces. And this isn't just for show, not at all. It brilliantly illustrates his power. Those 6 heads symbolize his complete mastery over the 5 senses and the mind. They represent divine qualities like ultimate wisdom, strength, fame, wealth, dispassion, the whole shebang. He is the total embodiment of divine consciousness.
So born with this incredible divine purpose, Shanmukha, who we also now call Skanda, was destined to be the supreme general of the gods' army. But, every great hero needs a great weapon, right?
While his father, Lord Shiva, gives him the ultimate divine weapon, the vel. And listen, this is not just any spear. It was the personification of pure spiritual energy, of focused knowledge. It was a weapon that could literally pierce through any illusion, any evil.
All right, the stage is set. Lord Skanda has his weapon. He's been named the General of the Heavens. It's time. The final, epic war for the fate of the entire cosmos was about to begin.
So how does the war go down? Well, Skanda's army just starts tearing through the Asura Empire. The first of Surapadma's powerful brothers to fall was Taraka. Then came the lion-faced Simamukha, who was such a fierce warrior that Lord Skanda himself had to step onto the battlefield to take him down. And that left only one major enemy standing, the Asura king, Surapadma himself.
And that final showdown, man, it was a battle for reality itself. Surapadma was a master of Maya, or illusion, and he threw everything he had at Skanda. He was shape-shifting, creating these phantom armies, trying to trap Skanda in magical mirages. He was fighting on every level, both seen and unseen.
But you can't fool the Vel. You can't deceive pure wisdom. Lord Skanda hurled his spear, and it sliced right through all the illusions and cleaved Surapadma in 2. But here's the craziest, most important part. The Demon King wasn't just destroyed. He was transformed. The 2 halves of his body became a peacock, which Skanda took as his divine ride, and a rooster, which he placed on his banner as an emblem.
So, the war is over, the universe is saved, the gods are back in charge.
Great story, right? But what if I told you that's not the real story? The ancient sages who pass this down insist that the real meaning isn't about some cosmic battle out there. No, the true battlefield is within you.
So what does it all really mean? Let's decode the symbolism, because this is where the story goes from being a cool myth to a powerful tool for understanding yourself.
Okay, this right here. This is basically the decoder ring for the whole story. Lord Skanda, he represents our own inner spiritual power, that divine knowledge that's kind of lying dormant inside us. The Asuras he's fighting, they aren't external demons. They are our own inner junk, ignorance, destructive desires, bad habits. And Surapadma, their king, he's the final boss, the individual ego, that little sense of I and me that separates us from everything else. And the Vel, that spear, that symbolizes the one-pointed concentration you need to win. The source text really nails this down with a powerful Sanskrit verse, Rite Jnana Mukti. It means, without jnana, or transcendental knowledge, there is no freedom, no ultimate salvation. Skanda's victory is the victory of knowledge over ignorance.
And that brings us right back to the veil. Think about it. It's a spear that tapers to a single sharp point. That's the power of a focused mind, sharpened through practices like meditation. A mind that can pierce right through the confusing veil of illusion, our own personal Maya, and vanquish the ego, just like Skanda did to Surapadma. And so we end up right back where we started. This whole epic isn't just a story, it's a user's manual for an inner war. The sages tell us that the greatest demon we will ever face isn't some monster with horns, it's our own ego. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what divine spear, what focus, what knowledge, what discipline are you going to use to win your battle within?